Hey guys, so for today, we are going to be learning on the weaknesses of Bohr's atomic postulate. Okay, so sebelum ni kita dah belajar tentang Bohr's atomic postulates kan. There are 4 important postulates that you guys need to know. Right now, so anything which has advantages definitely has its drawbacks, okay? Atau flaws, atau weaknesses, okay? So for today, we're going to be looking at the weaknesses of Bohr's atomic postulate. Okay, this is very important because we are going to learn 2 other concepts or suggestions from other scientists based on these weaknesses itself. Okay, what are Bohr's atomic postulate's weaknesses? Number 1, Bohr's theory can only explain the hydrogen spectrum or ions containing 1 electron. Okay, so basically Bohr said that this theory's weakness states that Bohr's theory can only explain the hydrogen spectrum or ions containing 1 electron. So sebagai contoh, hydrogen, helium and lithium ion. Okay, because ada satu electron je, that is the only one it can explain. More than that, it cannot explain. Okay, that is the first one. Number 2, the postulate fails to explain, basically Bohr's atomic postulate lah, fails to explain the spectrum for multi-electron atoms and ions. So ini pun lebih kurang sama, but this one it's specifically talking about fails to explain the spectrum. Kita kan dah belajar 2 jenis spectrum, continuous and line spectrum. Here we are mostly talking about line spectrum because line spectrum is the one that you can calculate and so on, okay? Which contains more than 1 electron atau multi-electron and ions, okay? Sorry, multi-atoms and ions, okay? Now, that is number 2. Number 3, Bohr's postulate cannot explain the extra lines in the hydrogen emission spectrum, atau we call it line spectrum, when a magnetic field is applied. Okay, applied. Okay, let me just repeat. Bohr's postulate cannot explain the extra lines in the hydrogen emission spectrum when a magnetic field is applied. Okay, nombor 3 ni apa maksudnya? So basically, when a magnetic field is applied on a hydrogen spectrum, it will become multi-lines. Okay, dia ada banyak extra lines dekat sini. Tapi ini with magnetic field. Kalau without magnetic field, you can see it clearly, satu-satu begitu. Kalau without magnetic field, you can count because there's 1 line, okay? Tapi with magnetic field, there'll be multi-lines. So on the hydrogen spectrum, so it's difficult for you guys to do calculations and so on. Therefore, we can conclude that Bohr's atomic postulate punya weakness adalah dia tak boleh explain kenapa ada extra lines dekat sini masa ada magnetic field. Okay, so now we are going to learn something called Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. Heisenberg, Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. Okay, apa principle ni cakap? Principle ni basically cakap it is impossible to know simultaneously, basically nak tahu benda banyak secara at the same time. It is impossible to know simultaneously both the position and the momentum of a particle with certain. Okay, so it basically states dia memang impossible kalau nak tahu dua-dua benda, which is momentum and position of a particle at the same time. Okay, Heisenberg's uncertainty principle ni dia actually contradict dengan Bohr's atomic postulate. Okay, that's why Bohr's atomic postulate menjadi salah satu weakness because it contradicts Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. Okay, because the Bohr's atomic model theory considers electron to have both a known radius and orbit. Okay, so Bohr's atomic model atau postulate has stated that the theory considers electrons to have both a known radius and orbit. Hence, this actually contradicts to Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. Because when you know a particular radius and orbits, it's the same thing to know the position and momentum at the same time, which is impossible according to Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. Okay, that is the contradiction. Now, we are going to learn one more thing over here, which is another type of theory. This is what we call the Broggle's postulate. Okay, so the spelling is DE apostrophe S postulate. Okay, what does the Broggle's postulate state? Not only light, but all matter have a dual nature and they possess both wave and particle properties. Okay, let me just repeat. Not only light, but all matter have dual nature and they possess both wave and particle properties. The highlight over here is wave and particle properties. Okay, the Broggle's postulate comes up with a formula: lambda equals to h over mv. H is the Planck's constant, lambda is the wavelength, m is the mass, v over here is the velocity. Okay, tapi it's not really significant for you guys to know this formula, but it's very, very important for you guys to know what the Broggle's postulate says. Okay, all right, guys, these are the things that we guys need to take note: the theories, the weaknesses, and the postulates that been suggested by a couple of scientists. I hope you guys enjoy this session. Happy study. Thank you very much.